When you think about your future, you know what calls to you. Meaningful work, happiness, growth, and sharing these values with others. But how will you find all of that? There are many paths forward, including one you may not have considered. The military provides countless opportunities to pursue your calling, where you can be part of something bigger than yourself, while still being yourself and having the future you want. You have a calling, we have an answer. Learn more at todaysmilitary.com.
Welcome back to Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network, and you can follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/@RamsUpPodcast. I'm your host, Mark. I'll be joined often by my football guru, Ian, along with a bunch of other friends of the show on occasion. Let's get to it. Hey, Ram Faithful, what is going on? A draft almost upon us, and I thought I'd have a little fun tonight. I'm going to run a solo draft at some point, but tonight I'm going to let the simulator make all the picks for us, the Pro Football Network's simulator, and see how they do. And maybe it'll add some insight into what the Rams should do, because I've seen lots of mock drafts all over the place from Rams content creators, the experts, and not seeing a lot of mock drafts that I really like. So let's see how the simulator does, okay? Not much work involved for me. I just got to start the simulator. I have it on slow speed, 7 rounds. And I'll try to, that'll allow me to follow along a little bit better. It'll take longer to run the draft, but we can check things out as it goes. So I'm going to kick this off. 7 rounds. I'm not picking for anybody. The simulator is making all the picks, and we'll kick this off. And it's going to be a little slow, but easier to follow along as well. Cameron Ward and Travis Hunter, as you'd expect. Abdul Carter is 3rd off the board. And then the offensive tackle, Will Campbell. Tyler Warren going 5th overall to the Jags. And then T-Mac to the, who did he go to? He went to the Raiders. And seeing if what I'm really eyeballing is some of the guys we like are coming off the board. I'm not going to call out every single player, but I will call out players that we may care about. The 49ers take Shamar Stewart, the edge rusher. Jalon Walker, last till 13th, going to the Colts. Mike Green, the edge rusher, is off. And getting close here, we're on the 18th pick. The Seahawks are up, and they take the quarterback Shadur Sanders. I think that's a little bit of a surprise. Walter Nolan, a guy I really like. Jahad Campbell to the Broncos at 20, and Jahdae Barron to the Vikings at 22. Matthew Golden, 23, off the board with the Browns. And Egbuka and Simmons and the Rams. They have the Rams taking edge rusher James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. Interesting. Not sure I like it because Malachi Starks was still there. He just went to the Commanders. Yeah, I don't know. Is he going to get on the field that much? I mean, eventually, maybe Byron Young moves on next year, but still, I don't know. I don't think edge rusher is a position I would target in the first round. Benjamin Morrison going 36th overall. I won't call out every pick, as I said, but the ones that maybe we care about. We're into the second round now. Trey Harris, the wide receiver, goes at number 40. Trey Amos, another cornerback we like, goes 42 overall to the Texans. The 49ers take the offensive tackle out of Oregon, Josh Connerly. Jackson Dart to the Colts. Maxwell Harrison to the Falcons. So I'd like to know, maybe we can pause this. Let's pause this right now, and I want to see which wide receivers are still on the board. We're at the 52nd pick, so we still have a ways to go. Luther Burden is still there. Tight ends. Mason Taylor and Harold Fannin Jr. So we could still get a weapon here. The on defense, let's look and see. Carson Schlesinger is still there. So there's some good players still on the board, clearly. Let's get this rolling again. And there goes Luther Burden to the Seahawks. That's not good news. Darian Porter, the cornerback of Iowa State, goes to the Bucks. Mason Taylor, the tight end, goes to the Chargers. Jaden Higgins, the wide receiver some of us like, goes to the Panthers. And there goes Schlesinger off the board, UCLA linebacker, to the Ravens. And, if the Ravens are drafting a defensive player, you probably figured, you know what, we probably should have drafted that guy. There goes Azare Thomas, Jared Verse's old teammate, going to the Panthers. We're into round 3 now. A cornerback, Denzel Burke, a running back, Caleb Johnson, the diminutive wide receiver, Tez Johnson, to the Packers. And there goes Kyle Williams, number 69 overall, to the Panthers. That might be the worst place for a great receiver to go to. Well, they do have Drake May. Maybe things are turning around there in New England. And there goes Jack Besh, the wide receiver from TCU, to the Bills. Harold Fanning Jr. off the board. And I'm going to pause this before it gets to the Rams pick. A lot of guys I like going off the board here. Chris Paul, Omar Norman Lott, the defensive tackle, Darius Alexander, the linebacker, Barrett Carter. Man, this is why I'm telling you there's so many talented players in between that 26 and the 90 spot. And a lot of them are very similar value-wise. Alec Ayamoner, butchering that name. We are at the 88th pick, and I paused it. 2 more picks and then the Rams pick, and let's see who's on the board. Elijah Arroyo is still there. And wide receivers, Savion Williams, he's that freak athlete, big wide receiver. If you can figure out how to use them, we talked about wide receivers like this, and a lot of scouts admit it. That everybody wants this guy on their guys like that on their team. And then they get him on their team and they don't know what to do with him. Kind of like they compared him to Cordell Patterson. Get the ball in his hands and good things are going to happen. Just got to figure out how to get that done. Running backs, Scadaboo is still there, as is Tootin. So we're going to have some options here. If you figure between Arroyo, Savion Williams, of these 3 wide receivers, Torrey Holton, Xavier Restrepo, and Savion Williams. Of those 3, I would lean towards Williams. I'm curious who the quarterbacks are. None that really jump out at me as worthy of a pick this early. And let's go back and look at linebacker. Demetrius Knight would be a very good option. If you want to beef up that defense some more, we got to go on offense. I don't like how this draft started for the Rams, going defense, edge, and now we're here we are in the 3rd round, and we haven't added any weapons. So let's resume this draft. Who are the Rams going to pick? There goes Gunnar Helm, the tight end. There goes Scadaboo, and the Rams select Dorian Strong, the cornerback. He's a solid pick if you need a cornerback, obviously, and the Rams perhaps do, but we haven't added any electricity to this offense, and that disappoints me. But we have a pick here coming up pretty soon. We'll resume this draft. Zy Alexander, another cornerback, goes. Seahawks take an offensive tackle. And Tootin goes to the Browns. There goes the speed demon. Rams have about 5 more picks till the Rams pick again. Tight end Terrence Ferguson goes to the Eagles, and there goes Elijah Arroyo, the other tight end. And we're going to pause this right here. So Arroyo and Ferguson are both off the board, and we have not added anybody on offense yet. And getting to be slim pickings if you're looking for weapons. Probably my favorite guy on this board right now is Savion Williams. Rams simulator better pick an offensive player at this point, or I will be extremely disappointed. And Shamar Turner, the defensive tackle from A&M, is still there. So let's kick this off. We'll resume it. 49ers and then the Rams. And the Rams select tight end Oronde Gadsden out of Syracuse. Well, they got a tight end. They got a weapon at least. And Gadsden wasn't on my list of the top 6 or 7 tight ends I was interested in. But there you have it. The simulator perhaps knows better than us. But I'm not happy with this draft so far. But we'll take that with a grain of salt. And if we're looking at additional weapons, other running backs we might be interested in, Dylan Sampson and R.J. Harvey are both there. And it looks like Savion Williams is off the board. Tesla, the wide receiver from Arkansas, I talked about him a couple of podcasts ago. He is still there, but we have a ways to go. And the simulator, I think the simulator got us off on the wrong foot going edge in the first round. Pierce may have been the best guy on the board, I suppose. But, when you have Jared Verse and Byron Young and, behind him, Nick Hampton, Keir Thomas, you can always add more edge rushers. You can say that about any position, though. It's important getting to the quarterback, absolutely. But it's also important to have some coverage there. I just paused it just in time. The Rams are about to pick, and they have Chase Lunt just went to the Jags. And let's look at these running backs. If it were me, I'm going one of these running backs. Damian Martinez would be a solid choice. Dylan Sampson, R.J. Harvey. I have a feeling they're going to cross us up here. And then there's Tesla, the wide receiver out of Arkansas. I would go one of those guys, and I'm guessing I'm going to be wrong. Let's resume it. And Corey Black, another cornerback. Okay, this draft has gone. It's gone sideways for me, as far as I'm concerned. I may have to run this again. You know what? Let's do that. Let's restart this. This makes no sense to me. I don't like it at all. We are going to restart this draft, and I am going to set it on normal speed so we get through this a little bit quicker. And let's see how this goes. Wow, that was, I think I could do better than that. So we will get to the 26th pick, and we will pause. We'll pause it right before that. Wow, Pro Football Network Simulator, not happy with it. Jalon Walker off the board. Malachi Starks, Jahdae Barron. Coming up on the Rams pick, Matthew Golden. There's 2 picks and then the Rams go. And let's see, who would I pick? Jahad Campbell still there. Egbuka, unfortunately, the receivers are really, they have Egbuka above Burden. And so we're not going to get Burden. If we get a wide receiver, we're going to get Egbuka. I'd rather have Burden. And the tight ends, Mason Taylor, Harold Fannin Jr., Elijah Arroyo. Cornerbacks, there's probably some decent cornerbacks still there. Siobhan Ravella's still there. Trey Amos, Maxwell Harrison. There's some good play. I have Harrison as their 58th ranked player. Not sure I agree with that. But let's resume this draft, and they are selecting Jahad Campbell for the Rams. Now that pick I'm okay with. I'd rather go offense, but Jahad Campbell, it makes a lot more sense than the edge rusher we got in the first round. He may have already been off the board this time around. I'm not sure. Now we have a long ways to go until that 90th pick. Let's see what happens here. Swessinger, the linebacker, is off the board. Trey Amos, the cornerback. Now, I'd really want to go offense here. I'm going to filter this for the best offensive players, and I'll pause it right before the Rams pick. Jackson Dart, Travion Henderson, Jalen Knoll, top players there. Henderson just went off, was just selected. Filter this for the wide receivers and the running backs. I want to make sure I get this paused before the Rams pick number 90 overall, right? Barrett Carter, the linebacker, goes. Okay, I'm going to pause it. There's one more pick before the Rams go. Tez Johnson just went to the Colts. So we have our linebacker in the house. Let's look at the tight ends. Elijah Arroyo is still there. Running backs, Scadaboo and Tootin are still there. And I'm looking at one of those guys, or possibly, well, Savion Williams. I like the tight ends and running backs on the board here more than the wide receivers. And Ted's Law, we could get him later in the draft. So let's resume this draft. And who did the Rams select? Oh, did we have a trade here? What happened? Shamar Turner was selected by the Bills at number 90. So there was a trade. They made a trade. The Rams traded out of it. What did they do? The Rams got the 109th and the 132nd pick. Okay, fair enough. Does that mean we're going to miss out on one of these running backs or tight ends we like? So we'll see. Trade back. Rams pick up another draft pick. Wish they had done that earlier. Let's resume this pick. Now I got to keep an eye on this board to make sure I don't miss the Rams pick. 101 overall. Let's pause it. 49ers are next up, and then the Rams at 101, and we still have Tootin at 108 overall and Savion Williams. It looks like we missed out on the tight ends I like. So, yeah, that's a little disappointing. I would go running back next. Let's see who the cornerbacks are. Zy Alexander, there's some good ones left, but even Noel Williams out of California, 167 overall, would not be, that'd be a value pick if you got him a little bit later. Let's resume this draft. Who did the Rams select? Torrey Horton, the wide receiver out of Colorado State. I kind of like that. He's not one of the guys that we've talked a lot about. If you want to know more about him, I don't know if I want to spend a lot of time on this. 6'2", 196. Torrey Horton has suffered from NFL draft fatigue. People have watched him for 3 cycles now, and he's been somewhat lost to time. But Horton's game hasn't vanished. He's a leggy runner who covers a lot of ground when he hits top gear with some carbon ceramic brakes to let him stop on a dime and return toward the line of scrimmage. Elevates and high points well, also a natural separator, and so on. So that is the Rams pick at 101 overall. So we got the wide receiver and the linebacker and some good running backs still on the board. I doubt we're going to get Tootin though. But R.J. Harvey, nice booby prize there if he's still there. Some like Harvey more than Tootin. Let's resume this draft. This is a lot easier for me than actually making picks. So I kind of like this. And you can't yell at me. You can't get on my case about these picks. So the Rams are picking after the Raiders. The Raiders are at 108. If we look at the top rated players on offense, still have Tootin there. And if we look at the cornerbacks, the tight ends, Gadsden is there. On defense, Zy Alexander is the one I'm most familiar with. I'm going running back here if it's me. Let's see what the simulator thinks the Rams should do here. We'll resume it, and they select Savion Jones, edge rusher out of LSU, and he's a 6'5", 280-pound edge rusher. That almost sounds more like a 5 technique to me. That's a pretty big boy for an edge rusher. Powerful and athletic defensive lineman with a strong physical playing style and a relentless approach to the edge. Interesting. It sounds like they're undecided on what position he plays. Fair enough. we're going to roll this again. And so we have, there goes Tootin, unfortunately. I'm not sure where the Rams' next pick is, 127. I think this is one they picked up in the trade. Is it not? No, it isn't. This is their original pick. And they are on the clock. And if we go to offense, Damian Martinez, running back out of Miami, is there. He's a guy that Ian talked about in his running back reviews. Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee is still there. You could go a lot of different ways at this point, but we'll see what they think. And Jordan Phillips, a defensive tackle out of Maryland. I'm just going to let this run through here. Oh, here comes another Rams pick already. Offensive tackle Chase Lunt out of Connecticut. Jackson Slater. Every time I see that guy's name, you know who I think of, right? There goes Damian Martinez. And there goes Jack Nelson, offensive tackle. And Ajani Cornelius, another offensive tackle. Two guys that we have mocked to the Rams a couple of times. There goes Nick Nash, the prolific wide receiver out of San Jose State. And there goes Tesla to the Dolphins, unfortunately. So I don't know. I like the top end of this draft. The bottom half, your guess is as good as mine. I suppose we're doing okay here. And the Rams are on the clock. This is the pick we picked up from the Bills. 175 overall. I think it was the Bills. And who do they have us? Oh, there goes Noel Williams, the cornerback out of California. And Scott Richmond talked extensively about him. A late round. This is the 5th round. So we did get into the 5th round. Didn't catch that. When we traded with the Bills, we did pick up a 5th round pick. So at the end of the 5th round, but 5th round nonetheless. And Noel Williams, the cornerback, that's a solid pick. I'll share a little bit about him. 6 feet, 199, experienced college corner with I remember him now, over 3,300 snaps played. That's incredible. Primarily an outside corner, but has taken snaps at box safety and in the slot. So a versatile cornerback, and that's always a good thing. I shouldn't say that. It's okay to be a specialist. And if you're excellent at one thing and not versatile, that's not a knock on you, because sometimes those players are just so good at what they do, you still can't get them off the field. Let's resume this draft. And we should have 3 6th-round picks, I'm pretty sure. I don't think we traded any of those away. There comes the 190th pick. And I'm just curious what running backs are on the board. Jordan James out of Oregon, Jarquez Hunter, and Jadon Blue. Those would be solid picks here, wouldn't they? I really like the Rams to go offense. Let's see what they do here. Marcus Tate, an offensive guard. Boring. But hey, I'm joking. The trenches are important. And then we finally select a running back, Corey Kiner out of Cincinnati. And Jadon Blue was still there. And so Corey Kiner, hopefully he's 5'8", 209, compact physical running back with a low center of gravity, a punishing running style, thrives between the tackles. And I don't think that's what I know some Ram fans on the channel have suggested we need that, and I disagree. Kyren Williams is perfectly adept at getting those tough yards between the tackles. He's done it over and over and over again for us. What we need is a change of pace back. I'm not a big fan of the big bruising running back either. 5'8", 209, a punishing running back between the tackles. Hey, not a knock on Corey Kiner. I just doesn't excite me for this football team. I shouldn't say he doesn't excite me. The traits as described on that I'm seeing here do not excite me. And there goes Jarquez Hunter, by the way. So passed on Hunter and took Kiner. And I think this is a case of Ram fans like us, hopefully, being in tune with our team more so than a dang simulator. We'll start this up again. Now we got those back-to-back picks. And so we got the running back. And we draft offensive tackle Corey Vincent and edge rusher Tyler Batty. Our second edge rusher. Is that our second edge rusher? Oh, that's right. The one guy was the 280-pound edge / defensive tackle. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. And that should be our last pick. There goes Curtis Rourke pretty late. Jordan James, Jeffrey Bassa, guy that Jadon Blue going. Bassa's the linebacker. A lot of Ram fans have chimed in about Ja'Cory Brooks. That's quite a value at the end of the 6th round. So it's going to be more difficult. Oh, we did have a pick here. We did have a 7th round pick. Another running back, Woody Marks, Jaquavius Marks. And I was really early on, I was all in on Marks as a late round pick for the Rams. But Scott Richmond shared some data on him, the charts of, yards after contact, that type of thing. And it wasn't very impressive. But we'll see how that works out. 7th round, come on, why not? I still think it's odd to draft 2 running backs. Absolutely need to draft 1 every year. And maybe they just saw him as the best player on the board. Are there any other? I mean, let's look at who else is out there. Trey Wettig, an offensive tackle, is still there. Ty Hamilton, defensive tackle out of Ohio State. So there's some good. Jalen Conyers, the tight end out of Texas Tech. So there's some talent on the board still. We will resume and wrap this thing up. Now, the one problem with letting it run through all the teams is it's not going to display the Rams results. I'll have to trail through it separately. Oh, we did have another pick there. I must have missed that. We had a 7th round pick there. We'll review that here in a second. Johnny Walker to the 49ers. And we have our draft results here. Oh, we can look at the, how do we do this? The round 1, the Rams selected Jihad Campbell, the linebacker out of Alabama. I like that pick. I'd rather go offense, but Campbell, pretty solid. And who'd we pass on? Luther Burden was on the board still. I might have taken Burden rather than Campbell. That's a tough call, though. We did not have a pick in the 2nd round. In the 3rd round, we traded back and got the wide receiver Torrey Horton out of Colorado State. So not too shabby, considering we traded back and picked up some picks. And who was still on the board? Let's go to the top of the 4th round. Savion Williams was still there. Omar Norman Lott, a good run-stopping defensive tackle. The guys from Draft Dynasty recommended him for the Rams, having seen our run defense last year. And then at 109, this is a pick we got in a trade, edge rusher Savion Jones. And let's see, was there another? We had another pick here in the 4th round. 2 more picks. Jordan Phillips, defensive tackle out of Maryland. So we addressed the trenches, and we addressed the trenches at 132 overall, Chase Lunt. So the 127 pick was our original pick. 109 and 132 we picked up in the trade. And we also picked up a 5th round pick, the cornerback Noel Williams. I like that pick. And then in round 6, we went offensive guard Marcus Tate out of Clemson, and then running back Corey Kiner. I liked other running backs that were on the board more, but there you have it. Carson Vincent, the offensive tackle out of Alabama, we got him at 202 overall. Those were our 3 original picks, and somehow, somewhere, we picked up, it must have been that one trade, I didn't catch it. We had a 7th round pick, Woody Marks, Joquavius Woody Marks, the running back out of USC. Overall, yeah, I don't know, man. I liked the Campbell pick, getting the wide receiver there in the, where did we get him again? Torrey Horton, late in the 3rd, pretty solid. But after that, I don't know. it kind of hit or miss for me. We did not get a tight end at all, correct? And Noel Williams, the cornerback out of California, I'm okay with that pick. So kind of missed the mark, I think, after the first pick and the one in the first round at the end of the third round. If we had stayed at 90 overall, is there any player that might have fallen into our lap? Elijah Arroyo, so we could have had Arroyo instead of Horton, and I'm guessing a lot of Ram fans would have preferred that. But there you have it, the Pro Football Network's simulated mock draft. We did a restart because the first one went real sideways, but hey, this is what the simulator thinks the Rams could potentially do, and compare it to how we do in our mock drafts. Compare it, see how it turns out. Your guess is as good as mine. Haven't done this before, so changing it up a little bit. Hope you enjoyed that out here from Rams Up. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.